Programmes tonight on BBC One. At 7 o'clock, Tomorrow's World includes a look at the dangers of driving.
Barry, I've commandeered a vehicle.
The old trick, eh? Eat the telly before I get a chance to nick you. It's a toaster.
Dalek, you have been defeated. Surrender. You have failed.
Insufficient data.
Nazi ain't got no humanity. They're the foot soldiers of a Jew-hating, mass-murdering maniac, and they need to be destroyed. That's why any and every sumbitch we find wearing a Nazi uniform, they're gonna die.
Is this world protected? But you're not the first lot to have come here. Oh, there have been so many. And what you've got to ask is, what happened to them?
Hello. I'm the doctor.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. He is a doctor. He was a doctor when the doctor was great. Oh, I mean, his second season was weaker. Okay, his first season was the best. Second season was the weakest. And it really should have been the strongest. But it's strange. Like, all the elements didn't really gel together, right? I got to do something about this light bulb. Oh, make me crazy, baby. Making me bloody... I don't notice it except when I'm streaming. He cried. I was going to say. And then I think his third season was, better than the second, right? But his second season had lots of stuff in it that seemed like it was good. Like A Good Man Goes to War. And that was... that poem, like they read it. And frankly, it was fun, right? It was a fun idea. It was then a bit naff. I think people were a bit naff. It had a lot of a bit naff in the second. I think their new river songs, the new friend. What's his name? I can't remember the name of the actress. The Black River song, the first River song, right? Didn't really work. Again, but I think, honestly, I like the experimentation of the third season by having like movies of the week, right? And while they weren't the best stories, they generally speaking entertained me. Like I liked it. I liked what's the name, that Dalek one, Asylum of the Daleks. I think that was really cool, right? I think the only one that's really boring is The Power of Three. That was dull. That was Chibnall one, wasn't it? That was really boring, right? And mostly it didn't work. I'll agree with you. Mostly it didn't work. Like that Cowboy one, like mostly it didn't work. But I like the experimentation of it, right? And even Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, right? Was at least you got the spectacle you wanted. I like the game hunter marrying Queen. Was it Queen Nefertiti? Who was also from Sherlock, right? Yeah. That's the trouble. Sherlock just became too huge at that moment, right? I think it sapped away the attention. And the final, I've said this many times, the final Sherlock episode was a Doctor Who story, right? When it was in the when it was in the prison. Basically, they're in the same sort of prison the Master would have been kept in. But imagine it was Missy, and then Missy had broken out. And it was essentially a Doctor Who story, which they took for Sherlock. Which, okay, fair enough. I mean, it worked well for Sherlock. I like Sherlock. I wish they'll be able to make more of them, right? But I get the feeling that Cumberbatch and both of them are probably way too busy. I think they'll come back if they can get their schedules to align, right? But is he still doing Marvel? I don't know. Marvel seems to just imploded, right? Just like everything is cancel, no cancel. I mean, like, and if it comes out, it's an embarrassment, right? Marvel is not doing well. You know, I was just looking at a thing came up saying, arguing that Rorschach was the hero of Watchmen. Now, if you've never read Watchmen, I really recommend it, right? Watchmen is a superhero, what's the word I'm looking for? Ensemble piece, right? And it was like the blueprint for the modern comic book, I would say, right? That and Dark Knight and Killing Joke happening all basically at the same time. But yeah, you're dumped in the middle of this continuity, and you have a bunch of different superheroes, and only one of them has superpowers, and how they have superpowers is somewhat more credible, right? But you have one character called Rorschach, who basically is this ink blot face that keeps changing in the form of different Rorschach blots. Looked very good in the Zack Snyder movie, right? That they did that very well, right? And he was a kind of like nihilist anti-hero. Right? Talamore said he's basically Jack Kirby. He's like, that's what Batman would be in real life, like very, very maladjusted. So here, let's share this article because I do like a bit of Watchmen. I do like a bit of Alan Moore. I found him a generally speaking very interesting writer. Doink. Where'd it go? I lost it. There you go. Literature demo. Rorschach is truly the hero of in Alan Moore's Watchmen. Well, who are the other characters? You got Rorschach. You have what's the word again? Night Owl. Night Owl is not the hero of Watchmen, right? He's more of a bystander, along with Silk Spectre. Ozymandias is a villain, for want of a better word. Dr. Manhattan isn't really a hero or a villain. I mean, he doesn't really have a hero's journey, Rorschach. What other characters are there? Right, I think. Well, how long is this? If this is like a long, weighty article, I can't. My brain can't cope. It's. All right, listen. We'll try a paragraph. I'll see if you get my attention. Oh man, this is just depressing. The Tom King rendition of Rorschach. Really, from what everything Tom King touches is shit. Right, it is just shit. The internet is well known for its constant state of perpetual outrage, and nothing enrages the internet quite like the truth. In this case, X, formerly Twitter, took our arms at my true yet desperately obvious take on Rorschach of Alan Moore's grand superhero epic Watchmen. Okay, so this is a follow-up article. Interesting. Right, I saw there was a lot of hullabaloo about Alan Moore and Watchmen recently, so he was caused by him. This legendary work centers around the idea that of a fantastical superhero existing in our real, morally grey and complex world. Ask almost anybody about the book; they'll tell you it was Alan Moore's deconstruction of traditional traditional heroes. Yes, as if and if legend holds true, they might be right. However, just because this was Watchmen, and perhaps even the writer may not like the traditional heroism, doesn't mean that we think that the traditional heroics think as traditional heroics suddenly goes away. This is exactly why that, despite any claims to the contrary, Rorschach remains the hero of Watchmen. Again, he's a very, very dark character. Like when he went to like interrogate people, like he went to a bar and his partner, Night Owl, was asking questions, and suddenly Rorschach grabbed somebody and breaks their finger, like, I've just broken this man's little finger. Where is Edward Blake? Or something like that. And he's like, and they snack, and he breaks another one, right? He was a very morally grey character, well, dark character, not grey. Where at to? And traditional heroics suddenly go away. That's exactly fine. Of course, state that out loud, and you might, as I experienced here, a hilarious crass cacophony of shrill cries, vomiting the age-old rebuttal. If you think Rorschach is a hero, then you miss the point of Watchmen. I can see how Rorschach would be the hero. It's an interesting take. I'm like, why would somebody be mad about that? It's a very interesting take, and I'm like, I'll be intrigued to see what Alan Moore says. Like, again, I know Alan Moore didn't like Watchmen, but like in the context of that dark Watchmen world, is he the star? It's a really interesting take. I like this idea. Of course, I find something like that. Missed the point, and then trouble something about your low-level media literacy. After all, when author Alan Moore was asked about Rorschach at this day, so I thought, all right, if there was Batman in the world, he'll probably be a bit mental. He wouldn't have time for a girlfriend, a friend's social life, because he'll be driven by getting revenge against criminals. That's basically, what he did. I mean, you could say Edward Blake, the comedian, is the hero of Watchmen, and he's killed in the first page, right? So, that'll be. I mean, hero in that he has the most heroic journey, and he's a catalyst for everything. Because the base of the catalyst of the story is superheroes have been outlawed for about 10 years. You have Agent Veidt, Aussie man, just the smartest man in the world, who like revealed his identity 2 years before they're outlawed, and he's like media darling. Everybody loves him. You have Silk Spectre, who became a superhero because her mother was a superhero. And kind of like Mummy Dearest thing, like living through her. You had Dan Dryberg, Night Out, essentially Batman in that world, Blue Beetle. And then you had the blue guy is Dr. Manhattan, who lives outside of time and space, essentially. Right? But that whole thing's brought together by Rorschach, the guy with the Rorschach face, investigating this mystery. It's an interesting idea. So I thought, all right, in the world would be a bit getting ready to get dressed up as a bat for some reason. He probably wouldn't be very careful about his personal hygiene. He'd probably smell. He'd probably eat baked beans out of a tin, which Rorschach did. He probably wouldn't talk to many people. His voice would probably have become weird with misuse. His phraseology would be strange. Yeah, he'll be a guy you wouldn't want to be around. I wanted to look. It's Jack Kirby. It's exactly we know you based on Jack Kirby now. I wanted to kind of make this this is what Batman will be in the real world. But I had forgotten that actually, to a lot of comic book fans, that smelling, not having a girlfriend, and these are actually kind of heroic. I guess so. So actually, sort of Rorschach becoming the most popular character in Watchmen. I meant him to be a bad example. Well, again, he's not a positive character, but is he the hero of Watchmen? Oh, it's a really interesting idea. Rorschach became the most popular. I mean, it'd be a bad example, but I have people coming up to me in the street saying, I am Rorschach, this is my story. I'm thinking, yeah, great. Can you just keep away from me and never go anywhere near me again as long as you live? So that was in 2008, right? First, anybody who needs Daddy Alan Moore to think for them has no business participating in any conversation requiring critical thought, let alone hacking up an opinion about somebody else's media literacy. Okay, so this guy got butthurt, right? Is this like a long time of him whining? That's not that long. But again, I think the idea is really good. Okay, if you get too whiny, I'm giving up. I don't think it's going to whiny though. Where are we up to? Secondly, the work stands paramount over the author's opinion. I agree with you. After all, if somebody wrote Batman in his usual cape and cowl, and later said Batman wore a big hat and a fur coat, it wouldn't suddenly make it so, right? And with Watchmen, the reality is less smelly comic book losers idolizing on their own in a wild misunderstanding of Rorschach, and instead Alan Moore misunderstanding heroism. As Alan Moore intended, Rorschach is portrayed as a smelly, mentally broken vigilante with poor hygiene, empty pockets, no girlfriend. Furthermore, his tactics range from ruthless to cruel. That's true, and he prefers to murder criminals rather than toss them in jail unlawfully. Rorschach is rude, socially awkward, broken. He's all the things Alan Moore said that said he would make a character, but does the mere act of liking Rorschach or going further, naming him the hero Watchman, mean that you're all things Alan Moore said you would be? Okay, there's no okay, fine. He's just whining because they say Alan Moore said whatever. It doesn't matter. Watchmen challenges the idealized superheroic figure by placing these romanticized. I mean, I can't believe somebody said, "Oh, you're a dummy thinking." It's clearly an intelligent person. Romanticized character in a very real, complicated world. The story is an intriguing tale of hard-hitting moral complexity. That's 100% true. That's a really good description of Watchmen. Hard-hitting moral complexity. I'd also say that about Cruel Summer. It's the criminal series by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, I think. Right? No, Sean Phillips, yeah. Very, like, moral complexity. Real interesting characters. The comedian is a broken man taking his anger out. Night Owl is a relatively weak man trying to be a hero. He doesn't have the strength to be. And Rorschach is the man whose outlook best reflects in his famous quotes: "The streets are extended gutters, and the gutters are full of blood, and when it drains drains finally scab over, all the vermin will look down the accumulated filth, and all their sex and murder will foam up at their waist, and all the whores and politicians will look up and I'll shout, 'Save us!' And I'll look down and say, 'No.'" Okay, but yeah, what's your point? It's starting time to get to your point now. From the start, Rorschach's view is a rigid black and white. Those do good, those do evil, and those who do evil who willfully wallow in evil deserve their fate. Note that Note that along with everything else, murder is among the evils listed. This is particularly important because murder plays a big role in Rorschach's life. Rorschach's mind was forever warped when he encountered a child murderer after the grisly deed was done. He gave Rorschach his undying moral worldview. Rorschach would face a similar conflict when he learned Ozymandias, another hero, was essentially New York. Well, sent a giant squid there with a exploding a mental explosion, I guess, murdering millions of innocent people. Right, all through the story. I mean, again, Ozymandias is really the hero, even though he's a villain, right? Because he's the one who fights to make the world better, and does, essentially. But it's like this heinous act. All through the story, the world is teetering on a world-ending nuclear war between USA and Russia. To prevent the outcome, Ozymandias decided to create a giant alien monster and have it explode, killing millions of people, but tricking them into thinking there's a deadly alien invasion was inevitable. To make matters worse, the plan worked. So our heroes face a terrible choice: give up and allow Ozymandias' peace to go unchallenged, or expose the plot and bring the mass murdering Ozymandias to justice. letting Ozymandias will means letting mass murder will go unpunished, but the threat of Armageddon will be over. Exposing Ozymandias will force the world, will force him face justice, will bring justice to all the innocent souls. But peace might break. The world knew the alien invasion was a trick. It's this moment that shows us the true character of each hero. Silk Spectre and Night Owl bend the knee to Ozymandias' plan. Yes, they do. Even godlike Dr. Manhattan sides with Ozymandias. Rorschach, however, does not. He's while everybody else has compromised their morals and chose the flimsy police to lie. Rorschach stood resolute and refused to let the child murderer walk. Right, he refused to let the horror of Ozymandias go unpunished. In our hero's own words, evil must be punished. People must be told. Right, a fair hero rarely wins laurels by compromising his morals. This is a real. I'll say 24-karat gold case is making, right? That Rorschach is the hero of Watchmen. I really never thought of that before. That's really genuinely fascinating. Finally, they did a before Watchmen Rorschach miniseries, and it wasn't very good at all, sadly. Most of them weren't good. I kind of like, the Minutemen one. That was quite interesting. I like the one by J. Michael Straczynski about Dr. Manhattan. Not least because it was drawn by what was his name? St. Hughes. Oh, just very, very sexy Silk Spectre all the way through it. Like one of the sexiest Silk Spectres you can imagine. One might say Ozymandias will be the hero in that the metrics since. He too never wavered. However, Ozymandias' arrogance and strong belief in his own belief that only he knew that was best led him to take the major action on behalf of the world. Ultimately, Ozymandias remained dedicated to world peace at any cost, while Rorschach remained dedicated to fighting evil at any cost. Well, not fighting evil, I think, honestly, truth. So it was a morality play. Oh, we're nearly done. In any other story, Rorschach would be the hero. His refusal to let evil go unpunished and the revelation of truth is ultimately admirable. And he does kind of win in the end because he doesn't make it to the end of the story, but he has a journal where he wrote everything down, and you see this like conspiracy theory newspaper, the editorial staff that looking for something from the crank pile. Right, and he reaches for the journal, which has all the secrets in it, right? Which of what really happened. So I like that, right? I thought that ending was very, nothing's forever. Like the time in the Identity Crisis when Justice League punished the criminal without trial, only Batman chose to stand up against his unjust action. In short, despite his many flaws, Rorschach acted in the most traditionally heroic way when the big moment came. That's true, right? It's not about the cape or the urinal, it's about the moment. Yeah. I mean, that really is the moral test for everybody, right? It's the guy who steps in to save a stranger from a fire or help. I'm like, yeah, okay, this guy's won me over. I'm prepared to agree with that. Rorschach is the hero of Watchmen, right? That was a total tangent. I totally didn't mean to do that, right? I totally didn't mean to get, but that guy's totally won me over with that argument, right? Right? I've strange thing. Okay, here's what I was going to open up talking about. 25 minutes later, I'll make it much quicker, right? I do this like daily study thing called Daf Yomi, right? Which is if you do 2 sides a day, like a page a day, it takes you 7.5 years to go through it. It's a massive codification of Jewish law, and it's very, very complex, right? It's not, but it's more. There's like philosophy, everything's in there, right? Everything's in there. So I have this English translation which I use called Art Scroll. So they do have several different Art Scrolls. You got the very big one, right? Which is the print's the biggest. And the way they printed it, it was wildly different, right? Nobody had ever seen a translation as modern or as clever, and it really was. It was a quantum leap forward, right? So yeah, the big one, but that's like expensive. It's like $60 a volume, right? And there's like what 40 volumes, more than that, like 80 volumes, 73 volumes. I like. But there's lots. Actually, there's more than that because they break them down. It's like 2 or 3 volumes for one, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of them. So then they came out with the a smaller, like called Daf Yomi size, which is Daf Yomi, which is the cycle of things that I do, right? That's my daily study things called Daf Yomi. I'm like, well, that's better. It's also cheaper. Then they came out with the travel edition. I like the travel edition, soft cover. Much cheaper, right? Much cheaper, and I liked it a lot. Anyway, so I need the next books coming up, right? And I need them for I knew this was coming for like about a month. So right at the beginning of the year, like over 2 weeks ago, I tried to order them from Art Scroll in Israel. No, out of stock. I'm like, really? Don't you think you should get those in stock, right? Don't you think that should go down? So I saw there's Art Scroll America, and they say they'll ship to Israel. I'm like, okay, fine, sold. So I ran the order through, right? And then I used PayPal to pay and connect it to my bank account. And then the bank didn't okay it for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, it's never going to get to me in time. I need it by Monday, right? By Monday this week coming up. It's never going to get me. Get it, like, yeah, it was early this week. I hadn't shipped out yet, right? So, but fortunately, I got an email from them saying we can't ship it to you. There's something wrong with your address. I'm like, thank God. And PayPal isn't, the money isn't going through PayPal. I phoned up a bookstore in Israel, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, we can get this for you, no problem. Right, I'm like, fine, I'll just get it locally, right? No problem, right? So I emailed the guy back saying, could you cancel the order? It's perfectly okay, thank you anyway. And then the next day, I got a shipping notice from FedEx, right? And also from their automated system saying that, the charges have gone through and they're heading out, right? They're being shipped, and they look like they'll be shipped to the wrong country, right? That was the place they couldn't route it properly. It was, instead of going to Israel, it's going to Illinois. I'm like, really? Really? And I like, what the hell's going on? That's crazy, right? And it says it must be going to Illinois because it was shipped 2 days ago. And it says it's going to get there by today. That got to be Illinois, right? No way it can be Israel. Today, right? FedEx leaves a package outside my door. 3 days. Right, of my order from America. It just turns out like I am, my flabber is blasted. Anyway, but because the salesperson I spoke to there was really good, they refunded me the money. So I got back to them and say, okay, so now I need to pay you again. But yeah, that's a really bizarre, I mean, like a really bizarre turnaround time, right? And it wasn't like hugely expensive shipping. Fine. We have to get to the Georgia Moffat story tonight, right? I went on the deep dive with Philip Morris last night, right? Man, I tell you, it's always interesting when you approach somebody about stuff like this. Because Philip Morris has been showing this really super anti-Semitic stuff, like really super duper, right? I like so traditionally, I like vile. And I'm willing to give anybody the benefit of the doubt, right? I'm willing to give them pass. Yeah, I figure it's not your culture. You don't know. You have the Arabs saying this thing, you have the Jews saying that, and they've been saying it for years. So I can understand if you're inclined to believe it, right? But then you can tell it's not something normal, right? It's not something that's it's something weirder going on, right? Like anti-Semitism of one form or another going on, when they were like, they just won't listen and they just ignore. They say stuff that clearly isn't true, and then you say, no, this is the fact. This is the fact. This is the fact. That didn't happen, and they're like, just ignore that, and they just keep on doubling, tripling down. So I don't know. Look, anti-Semitism. People often think it's a hatred of Jews, and it is, yes, groups comprising solely of Jews. But anti-Semitism is the always attacks the primary identification of Judaism in the world, right? Which right now is the state of Israel. Oh, the primary identification of the Jewish people, I should say, right? Which right now is the state of Israel. So it's not really about being Jewish in my humble estimation. Anyway, so I spent way too much time on that, and I forgot totally about this story, which we need to go to. I have to say, this AI I worked quite a lot on, and it was really worth it. Georgia Moffat has really blonde hair, right? Really, really blonde hair, and it's very hard to. You have to get somebody with the right shaped face to do a working face swap on her, and so this one took some time. But, I persevered. I persevered for you, my people, because I love you that much, right? Anti-Semitic, toxic Doctor Who fandom chases Georgia Moffat off social media. Well, look, here's the thing. You lay down with dogs, you get fleas, baby. And I like dogs. All right, so all I said was that those television features look nice. Trigger warning, trigger warning. And I do like the Peter Davis in the background going, told you they were crazy. Inside the spaceship. Will we get to that today? Maybe, maybe not. Tom Cruise to save cinema. I hope he does. I like a bit of Tom Cruise. I think the last Mission Impossible was shit, sadly. But I like Tom Cruise a lot, right? I like Tom Cruise a lot. I think he's a very hard-working person, right? Generally speaking, I think a very hard-working person. Let me just refill my water. She cried. Oh, you know what else I'm watching, by the way? Which is a recommend. I just finished the second episode, the TED TV show, right? And no, the Orville is never coming back, right? When you look at the titles for TED, it's the entire production team from the Orville, right? It's Tom Constantino. It's all these names I got to know, right? And they got like Scott Grimes is in it, but it's very funny. I've been very impressed with it. It's set in the 90s, so it doesn't have Marky Mark in it. Right, they got a kid standard who as young Marky Mark is pretty good, but like spoiler warning, like I'm in the second episode, and Scott Grimes as his dad is scared of getting sedated because he doesn't want to let his secrets out about Vietnam. Right, he's always terrified about the secret. So eventually the secret comes out. They say, "What is it? What could be so bad? What could you have done? It's Vietnam. People think there was war." And he says, "I jacked off a dog." I was like, "What? Really? Okay." And they're like, "Why?" And the story behind it is quite amusing. Anyway, Darren Evans here. How you doing, Darren? Thank you for joining. The OTS Starters is here. How you doing, OTS Starters? Ethan Buckholder is here. How you doing, Ethan? Thank you for joining us. Jonathan Cox is here. How you doing, Jonathan? Fly Highland is here. Oh, I love the clip of Matt Smith. I love a bit of Matt Smith. Right, I do love a bit of Matt Smith. Where was it? Walmart here, pets have no ambition. Whitey the cat. I nearly got away with calling the cat Spunky, right? Because he's all white. And my daughter doesn't know what spunk means, which is the English word for cum. So there you go. If you inquiring minds wanted to know. But I couldn't keep a straight face. I said, we should call Whitey. Although I love calling her Whitey, it's so funny. we call she's got a lot. Get up and go. Why don't we call her Spunky, right? And I couldn't not smile, right? She saw through my ruse. So, Whitey's really cute. Oh, Whitey's really cute and getting somewhat attached. Like my daughter has a relationship with a cat where she wants to snuggle with the cat all the time, and the cat's crazy. Cat's like, so Whitey, I want them to be able to be free, baby, do their own thing, right? But whenever I sit on bed, she jumps up and comes to say hello, and comes and rubs up and goes, "Oh, she's so cute." Oh, she's so cute, right? You know, I'm gonna tell you, I am enjoying YT. I love the first and second match series. Season 7, Part 1 wasn't that great. I love Part 2. Part 2 was much stronger, right? But man, did Clara overstay her welcome. Like Last Christmas would have been iconic if she was old, right? Really would have been iconic, and I think it would have really helped his Doctor as well. That being said, we still needed two more seasons of Capaldi, minimally. I'll say 4. Oh, like gothic horror seasons. I would have loved that. I'd love to see what Peter Capaldi would have wanted to do with Doctor Who, because he hates the Doctor Who going on now. Right? Model stretched too far, says he can book horror. One of the scripts he had 2 more polishing. There were some scripts that were really lame. Although I tell you, Capaldi's Doctor has so many components. He really came alive when he was talking with children, right? I mean, that I really think that's his. I loved it when he has screen time with children. So you got like unbelievable pieces of shit like in The Forest of the Night, which is really raised up by Capaldi hanging out with kids, which is just delightful, right? Inquiring about your pet, the pets and weather. Weather's quite nice today, all right? I took the dog on a walk. Dog likes going on a walk. Daisy's like she has a thing where she comes and gets me now when it's time when she wants to go on a walk. I normally the time is 12:30, but she comes and like begs me. Oh, I'm ready. Please can we go? I'm like, really? Okay, fine, we're going. White is just cute. White is just super cute and very purry, right? All you need to do is just stroke her a little bit. She's purring away. Oh, and she loves having her tummy tickled. Oh God, it's so cute. This cat is just cute. What are we up to? So Mr. Jekyll and Hyde is here. How you doing, Mr. Jekyll and Hyde? Thank you for joining us. The Sword Rangers here. How you doing, Sword Rangers? Colin Archers. Tzvi Lebetkin, I was watching Will of the Fans video about Georgia Tennant thing, and I was reminded about the Raylos wanting Adam Driver's wife. Shall we say disappear? These people are crazy. Listen, you need to be relatively bonkers, right? I mean, to be into like the whole like Hamas thing. Like after October 7th. Like, here's the thing. We'll talk about when we get there. Georgia Moffat as a feminist, right, can never be on the can never say, oh, that's legitimate resistance, like raping and murdering women and like torturing babies, right? Like she can never say that, right? And that's the cultural mistake that Hamas made. That everybody got to see who they really were, right? Because they were way too successful, right? Bottom line, they were just way too successful. Now, why were they too successful? I blame us Jews, right? Because I think we have too much. Again, infighting. Too much talking shit about each other. If we would just stop that, honestly, if we stop that, we would be the kings of the world. It's crazy, and the world, everybody, we will be much happier. It's really bizarre, right? It's really bizarre how much better the world will be. We will be getting to the Georgia Tennant thing. That as you can see, like I put it right on the thumbnail. If you want to score in the credit card uses, you will get profiled. If you aren't scoring credit card usage, you'll get profiled as a MAGA terrorist. If you get a Bible or a shop at Bass Pro. Yeah, I saw that. That was great. I saw that on Tim Pool. That was crazy. But look, like we all know it's coming unless there's a miracle, right? And I think the miracle is that Trump's just going to win overwhelmingly. Right, and it seems to be word that Nikki Haley is probably some kind of plant is getting out, right? And it seems to be, but like I'm sure they want to remove Trump from the ballot in places like California, right? So it goes to Nikki Haley. I mean, honestly, I think if they do that, if they can put Vivek back on the ballot, and Vivek say, I'll take all my delegates and vote for you. Right. Tzvi Lebetkin, I was watching a direct stream, and somebody pointed out that Rorschach is literally named after the test where there is no correct interpretation. That's really clever. Yes. Wow, that's really clever. Knowing Alan Moore, he will strongly disagree. Probably. Courage is here. Courage. Look, I mean, I felt bad for Alan Moore that he's been screwed over 1 billion times over by comic book companies, right? But like, you know, I do feel bad about that. But I would really like to see him get some joy out of that Watchmen movie, which I thought was a very fair adaptation, right? I really did. Even like the Watchmen TV show, which was a piece of shit, except when they didn't have black people on the screen. When there wasn't black people on the screen, the thing was freaking awesome. As soon as they put black people on the screen, David Lindelof like seized up and got terrified he was going to be called a racist. I know it was, but like the bits with Jeremy Irons as Ozymandias are just fantastic, right? Absolutely fantastic. Nameless Entity is here. Have a subjective question that got me some hate on Reddit. Okay. Not counting the Daleks. What are the mightiest military empires in who? Like how would the Movellans Jadoon rate? I guess the Movellans would be pretty darn strong as they went toe to toe with the Daleks. But maybe they went toe to toe with Daleks when they were at a weak period. I don't know. I mean, you got the vampires. They're all, you know, of legend. I guess the Sontarans will be up there. Cybermen. I mean, Cybermen. Oh, that annoyed me in what's that one? Was it Doomsday? Yeah, with the Cybermen versus the Daleks. There was 3 Daleks, right? And it just they just wiped out all the Cybermen. They should have taken. I wish the Cybermen were more successful against the Daleks. I know you can argue, oh, these are early Cybermen, right? But it was just kind of lame, I thought, right? I guess again, Sontarans. I mean, look, you do get like, you know, battle fleets that kind of 10 a penny. I mean, I don't know how the Bannermen would do against the Movellans, frankly. Right? It's very hard to judge. I mean, again, you got the demons, I guess. Axos. I mean, look, they're all pretty tough in some way or another, I guess. I mean, Sirens, you got the Quarks. I don't know. It's a good question, right? It's a good. Why would they get you hate on Reddit? I don't understand. What's wrong with that question? It's perfectly fine, right? It's perfectly fine. That's just bizarre. Bizarreville, I say, sir. Bizarreville. Bar, I say. Bar and humbug. Anyway, I am personally a bit biased, but leaning to the Cybermen as they have, but they have been foiled on many occasions. Well, yeah, that's what you do. A bit of cyber foliage. Georgia logged an online toy, alias people who want to touch people. What? What's children? Told her to say Israel's bad. Okay, yeah, I know. We're gonna get to it soon. Nestings, yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, they're all. Why would it get you hate though? I don't understand why that will get you hate. All right. Are we all cold enough? Catherine Fee says, yeah, England is freezing. Israel's not so bad, but man, England is freezing. And so is America, for that matter. Richard Spanner says, I think that his mother being a prostitute was always the start of his psychological issues. Well, yeah. It certainly didn't help, right? And I do like the way that they made the Rorschach blocks look like the moments in his memory, right? It was very, very, it was very clever. Jack, you're still going. Jack Roth, excellent. Yeah, look, yeah, all these are good. DB Strawbridge is here. How you doing? Why am I 40K? A lot of people are really into that right now. I like that Henry Cavill's going to do a movie soon. But yeah, somebody else told me they're getting into it, right? Looks good. I can tell you. Dimmy Strawberry's here doing Dimmy Strawberry's. PD Rich is here doing PD Rich. Thank you for joining us. Who else we got? Here? We got PD Rich says lots of laughy face. So I don't know what happened. Somebody used PD somehow. Right? All right. I don't know if it was me. I didn't mean to. To be fair, from what I heard, Georgia is pretty much with her husband politically. Yeah, I'm sure they are. So this is the case of the lefty thing. Yes, of course it is. But the abuse she got was totally undeserved. Well, again, of course it is. These people have no moral value whatsoever. Beware Lone Farmer says, you heard? I heard what? I don't know. I guess I heard about Georgia Tennant, right? My daughter has a relationship with a cat. Does he just ignore himself? He does. Richard Spanner says, to be fair, it can also mean something like guts or dive. Yeah, I understand, but I would never refer to Spunk as anything other. What was it? Beware Low Five was in the woolly hat. It's freezing there, right? It's absolutely freezing there. What the Mavellans on top of the pops, or am I thinking of Boney M? Could be there will be a great combination, right? Be a great combination. Davey Strawbridge. Always thought the Mavellans were an enemy of the Daleks. Met in early history. The Sontarans against the Mavellans would be fun. I like Mavellans a lot. I think, and I love the Mavellans turning up in the pilot, right? Where, and they just work so well, right? They really work so well. Draconians versus Cybermen, that would be damn cool. That indeed would be damn cool. I do agree with you. Fine, let us get to the Georgia Moffat thing. So it began. By the way, I have to tell you, my thumbnails are late. Very impressed myself, if I do say so. Right, if I do say so. I mean, we had Wilma Deering early this week. Then we had the two Romanas. Oh, so good. In fact, I made that, and I decided I have to make that into its own little slide because I got to do a calendar or something like that to hate out this. I just have to, right? I just have to. But yeah, I mean, this would be a great calendar. But yeah, Georgia Moffat, right? So poor Georgia Moffat, right? I assume that she saw the multiple rape and murder of babies, right? Again, I think the sexual violence thing that really has women going, no. Yeah, like this is beyond the pale, right? And so it's much harder to paint Israel as the evil aggressor. By the way, it's important to note, like even according to Hamas figures, right? There have been I think 2 civilians killed for every 1 enemy combatant. Right, and America and England and every other military, they say 3 to 1 is fine. So we're demonstrably better than everybody else. Having said that, as well, Ashar Bassad has massacred hundreds of thousands of people literally next door, and nobody gives a shit. Right? Alan Dershowitz came up with this. I do think it's right that Palestinian lives do not matter to Palestinians or to these leftists, because unless they can say it was taken by a Jew. That's the only time it ever matters, right? So, wait, Georgia Tennant is a Zionist? I mean, that's a good thing. Nico, Kanye's version. It's a good thing. Like, Nico, mate. Where's the closest place that you can have a pride parade other than Israel? Yeah, in the entire region. Like, what about Saudi Arabia? Do they have many there? What's the gay life like there? What's the trans life like there? Where do Arabs have the best human rights in the world? Israel. Right? They have the sexual freedom. You have the freedom of religion. Yeah, but again, I got this when I was banging my head against the wall with What's it called again? Philip Morris, right? When I was banging again, yeah. Look, you got to understand. There's no occupation. There certainly wasn't any occupation of Gaza. Israel left in 2005. So, and they gave them, and they ethnically cleansed the Jews. It's like a broken bloody record going over this over and over again, right? There's no, apartheid state. Everybody has the same rights. It's ridiculous. But and so being a Zionist, yeah, in this sea of a dearth of all human rights, right? Yeah, there's one place where there is human rights, and that's called Israel. Right? There's one place where there's actual genuine morality. Right? The Israeli army is the most moral army in the world. Yeah, she said loads of Zionist propaganda on Instagram. So what do you mean? Like again, was she talking about all the women that were raped because they were Jews? Well, that's Zionist propaganda. And it's amazing how the Holocaust now happens in real time. Right? It's absolutely, it's horrifying and amazing how it happens in real time. That no, there's no dead babies. I know the first responders. Yes, there are. It's horrific beyond it's horrific beyond horrific, right? And it's all based on this lie of the Nakba, that the evil white settlers came in and took over Israel, right? And I'm sorry, I don't think Georgia Tennant. Well, we're going to hear what yesterday was swayed in any way, shape, or form by when she saw the absolute disgraceful, disgusting horror that Hamas unloaded, right? When Hamas revealed who they are. They're not going to get behind you, right? You can cry as much as you bloody like about it's a genocide, even though it's not. And saying that is in itself anti-Semitic, right? It's you can see, this is what warfare looks like. I'm sorry you don't like it. I'm sorry Hamas started. And I have to tell you, of the two parties, Hamas and Israel, right? What I would like, and I think what most Israelis would like to see, is a rebuilt Gaza with the media being controlled by Israel, with the message being pumped in through so that we can be friends. Where life will be better for everybody if we're friends. And then so we get to a next generation where we are friends. That's one vision, right? That's the Israeli vision, right? The Arab vision, the Nikos vision, right? The people who hate the Zionist vision, they said, "Oh, kill from river to the sea, kill the Jews." Right, and then there will be peace. No, then they'll go and start killing each other, but you won't give a shit because there's no Jews involved to blame. So like the Zionist propaganda, says Toby on Instagram. Then unliked it after getting called out without apologizing or anything. I'd love to see this propaganda. So Georgia Tennant replies, "Wow." Just to clarify my wow. It's not a response to being called something. Call me what you want. That's fine. It's a response to a lie. I don't like lying. I don't tend to comment here unless I feel my contribution can offer more than others. On this matter, it's can't. Right? I don't support the killing of innocent people. Very fair. I think everybody other than the Hamas supporters agree with that, right? I really don't know anyone on the Jewish side who'll go like, "Oh yeah, oh I love that collateral damage. Give me more dead babies. Oh, we just love the dead babies, right? Oh, it's the best thing ever." And how do you think that's to our advantage, right? How do you think that helps us? The only answer is this: that you believe in the myth of the evil, bloodthirsty Jew. The evil white man came in and brutally oppressed the brown indigenous people. Oh, they're so terrible. Oh, they are. And they've been doing a genocide for 75 years. I mean, a bit slow, but 75 years. But 75 years. I mean, yeah. Bullshit, baby. Bullshit. So I don't support the killing of innocent people, nor do I associate with people who do. But you know that. If you want to hear from people about what's happening anywhere around the world, look at whose words can inform you, come and teach you. I've had lots of people who have taught me a huge amount recently, and I can't recommend it enough. I always support everyone's right to live in peace. Always. Well, again, she was a bit of a relentless dick about the trans thing. I hate to say, but I can't disagree with her there. Right? And moreover, that seems like a very reasonable take. Right? That seems like a very, very, very reasonable take. Right? And I think if you have a problem with that take, that's a you problem. Honestly, more than anything else, it's a. It's you're just being bonkers, mate. Right? You're just being bonkers. Anyway, speaking of being bonkers, let's just see how this went down online. Okay, we'll just go for a little. I mean, there's just so much, right? There's so much. It's beyond belief. We'll start over here. It's a good little thread. Wait, I'm so behind I'm so behind on the TEA-BC. I've been IA. Did Georgia Tennant deactivate because she's a Zionist? Yes. The Prodigals, the Elders of Zion all got together and we said, Georgia, you need to deactivate because you're a Zionist. No, she deactivated because people were harassing her. Yeah. But didn't she basically pull a MS? What's an MS? What, like, Phoenix, why are you talking like a retard? And I don't mean to insult retards. I really don't. But why? What like ineffable brain rot? Well, that's for sure. Truther to the fine arsehole them. She didn't pull an MS and say she was neutral on genocide about the genocide. You ignorant cunt, right? You ignorant cunt, Aramus. Like harassment isn't okay, but being neutral about genocide isn't okay either. It's not. No. This is the stuff I've heard through word of mouth. Oh, word of mouth, it must be true. I have no fucking clue what's really going on. Well, you've got one bit of sentence, you've got one half sentence of truth out, right? To which John the White picks up. Oh, God bless you, John the White. I have no fucking clue what's going on here. You really fucking don't. It's so true. And that's the point with all you TikTok adult brats. With your mush brains witch hunting Georgia Tennant on social media for refusing to performatively hate Jews. Yes. So it goes on to say, I was bullied from the vast majority of my life, and it gave me CPTSD. What post-traumatic? What's the C stand for, you think? I don't know. Crazy PTSD? Could be. Crazy post-traumatic. I don't know. Should we look it up? I want to look it up. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Post-traumatic stress. Here we go. CPSD. What's it? Complex post-traumatic stress disorder is a condition where people experience symptoms of PTSD along with other additional symptoms such as difficulty controlling your emotions or feeling angry or distrustful towards the world. Dude, that's called being awake. Really? It's my everyday life, right? That's the world I live in. I must have CPTSD as well then, okay. I'm not so sure you can put harassment with what's happening in Gaza on the same level. You're right. It's but again, I love their like complete belief in their own bullshit. The two of them, Oh, I'm not trying to. Oh, the genocide. I mean, again, do you understand that you're being a racist fuck every time that you buy into that? Right? And you're like, oh, you sneaky Jews, you just don't want us talking about it. No, we're telling you the truth, fuckface. I'm saying it wasn't okay to people harass Georgia and her family the way they did, but her neutral feeling about Gaza isn't okay either. No, that's actually an intelligent thing to say, unless you're actually really genuinely educated, which Phoenix Janethy's version, you're not, mate. You're not. You're a bit of a dunce, right? You're a silly Billy. You're a clueless racist cunt, I think is the word that I was looking for. Clueless racist cunt, right? I was also severely bullied by I'm not surprised. You're a clueless cunt. I mean, no wonder. But that's not calling him being bullied. That's just like, reality trying to preserve itself and keep you away from them. Get back, weirdo, come in, weirdo. Severely bullied my entire childhood. I still go to therapy for it, but I'd never compare it. Oh, okay. Well, this guy is just this little saint. All right. But wait, it goes off in a whole nother thread, doesn't it? These guys are out their bloody mind here. I think it goes off. No. You're vile. I forgot that bit. That's good. Is this was the original thread? Oh man, here I got. 1 second. Let me take it off stream. We'll actually find the rest of it. I thought I was really together. I thought I had the whole thread laid out there, ready to go, ready to take the piss. What's this? Okay, where's this? No. Again, I'm going through my messages trying to find the link to this. I thought this was it, right? I thought this was it. No. Okay, I'm confused now. I mean, it doesn't take much. I got here. Hang on. I got some more screen grabs coming. There we go. There's that one. Again, that's the trouble. These things just go on and on and on and on and on too much, right? These Twitter dramas. Oh, is this it? Hang on. This could be the thing I wanted to get to. Right there. Maybe. We'll find out in a minute. Doink. No. No. Okay, fine. Let me just go over these things then. Fine. Where's the where's my images? There you go. Doink. Open that up. And go this, and this. I got other stuff. No, I didn't want. No, I put up Trump's mugshot. That's not what I was trying to do. And now everything's gone away. Come back. Everything is hard. She cried. Okay, there you go. Fine. Share screen. Sharing screen. Doink. There you go. Mug shop there. Okay, well, I guess I'm coming useful at some point. Where are we up to? If you're willing to listen and learn, please listen to this. Using your platform is so important. The media is silencing voices, spewing propaganda like never before. Well, awareness is more important than ever. Saying I support evidence is like saying all lives matter. But don't all lives matter? Like, honestly, don't all lives matter? That's really awful. I don't know, like, why do you think this makes you look good? That's really awful. I'm a little bit astounded, right? I am. I'm a little bit astounded. Like, how could you be so insanely dumb? That's so bizarre. I'm following Moot's defending Georgia Tennant. I'm not even going to try and argue with it. Well, goodbye. All people were trying to do was educate her. Okay. Ten's sand shoes, Docky Who spoilers, right? You know nothing about Israel. You know nothing about Gaza. You know nothing about Palestine. I mean, like, you genuinely don't, right? You have no connection to it. All you know is what you've been told. And again, you've got this insanely arrogant, and it's insanely arrogant sense of not just entitlement, of your own personal rightness. When you're not just wrong, but you're actually being the fascist, you know, that you say you oppose, right? It's like it's just bizarre, right? Bizarreville in many ways, shape, and form. Anyway, overall, yeah. So I found this interesting. William Who covered this as well. So for me, this seems like I've been trying to educate her and get her to do one simple thing. Yeah, denounce Jews and say I'm on board for rape. Oh yes, rape should be a weapon of war, but only used against Jews. Yeah, she's not really up for that, you dumb cunt. Right? There's one simple thing. That's it. That's just one simple thing that could make a difference. And she argued back. How dare she? How dare she argued back? She is evil and blocked people. She was immature, man. This is a arsehole beyond compare, right? Oh my god. No, very odd. So like I go to this account as basically this is where I see, like, I don't know, like I wouldn't call them toxic fandom, because I don't think that's fair. There's a lot of toxic fandom that heads around there, but I think it's more young fandom more than anything else. And they were not on board. William Who. I've just tried to stay out of this. And again, this is what he did at the beginning of the Israel-Hamas war as well, which I'm actually pretty darn impressed with. Right? Smart. But people bullying Georgia off Twitter just because she doesn't want a war in general and doesn't want to upset anybody is wrong. Yeah, listen, we Jews are a little bit touchy about this shit right now, right? Call us crazy, but we are. We're a little bit uptight, darling. Right? We don't like being told that we're doing a genocide when somebody's trying to do a genocide to us, you cunt. Okay? We're not up for that. Twitters are worse sometimes. This archived achieved absolutely nothing. Archived absolutely nothing. So it's really weird though, because like a lot of these people are kind of like very much into this sort of thing. And they're like, oh, how terrible. But then somebody says, oh, look at all the right-wing people supporting you. Right? And I know, like, there's a bunch of people there, super-duper into counterculture. Very hard to get one's head around, right? Very, very hard to get one's head around. To guide you, to find a way to get your head around these mind-bending, insane things. And they are mind-bending and they are insane. It is best to get a guide, a man of wisdom. A tracker who knows the path to walk, right? Who can see the signs, right? Who can, I'm always reminded of what's that movie? The Rob Roy movie with Liam Neeson, right? And also Tim Roth as the bad guy, right? But this opens up, and you have like big burly Scotchman coming up the hill. It really was like that, by the way. I'm not exaggerating. And there's a bit of like, it looks like mud or cack and you go, oh, that's shit. That's cow dung. He stops it and picks it up and goes, breaks a bit and goes, 2 days old. It's in that direction. I'm like, okay, maybe being such a great tracker, keep it to yourself, right? Don't tell us. Don't tell us your secrets, right? Keep it. Keep it under your hat, darling. Keep it under your hat. Now, for my next guest, is somebody who knows how to keep much greatness under a hat, under a big woolly hat, because it is sub-bloody zero in England, and I can only imagine how bad it is in the rest of England. Must be worse. Why? Where he is? Why? Because he is. I mean, whilst he's royalty, right? He's a cut above everybody else. Whilst he's royalty, he's only Birmingham's king of the geeks. As Dan Hadley, how you doing, sir?
Yes, you guessed correctly, everybody in the chat. I think Dan's coming. Yes, it's me, everybody. Yes, I'm freezing bloody cold. But all apart from that, all is well. Congratulations to you and your household. The glorious week.
They're very happy. Although, I mean, he's back in a tank in Gaza now. But she's happy she's got a ring. Okay, that's basically what we are. She's happy she's got a ring.
Bless her. Yeah. But,
what's going down in Blighty?
What's going down in Blighty? Being Blighty, people are largely moaning about the weather and that kind of thing.
Well, you also can't afford to heat your homes anymore either.
There is that. Yeah,
there is that axis going on.
We've taken to a sustained pattern of wood rubbing and self-abuse to get through.
Look, that does it. Oh, I have to tell you, I've gone really old school, right? I've discovered hot water bottles. I'm not joking. I freaking love my hot water bottle.
Someone recommended that to me quite recently, in fact.
Put it in your bed half hour before you get in, right? Then you get a nice warm spot you're in, both on the top and the bottom, right? Because it warms up cold as well. And you snuggle up with it. Oh, it's freaking awesome. Whenever I get in bed, I'm always like, oh, it's so good.
Heated electric blankets are back in a big way, but they cost quite a lot to run as well. So I think the hot water bottle is
we're going backwards, right? We're going backwards. Things that were not a problem 10 years ago are a big problem now. It's not good news, baby.
Yeah, we're hitting. I'd say we're hitting around 1974 at the moment. So give it 6 months, we'll be in about 68, 67.
I tell you, I mean, look, I'm hoping this gives Nigel Farage a way to win this election.
Something's got to be done because, I mean, it stands to reason that the Tories are going to get a drubbing, which means that Labour get in by default. Nobody actually wants a Labour government. And if they're honest about it, Labour supporters don't even want a Labour government. And they certainly don't want Keir Starmer as Prime Minister.
How much would it cost to do like a massive advertising campaign so that it's on every bus shelter, right? And everybody knew about the reform. Like, how much would that cost? It's got to be worth it. Right? I mean, I really think they could do well if they did that.
There's obviously a bit of a sort of a cabal, a cathedral of interest, if you like, which all conspires to make sure that we remain a sort of a two-party race pretty much in Britain.
It's a civil service, right? Who was it? Russell Brand was talking about that, right? What was it talking about? I can't remember. I like a bit of Russell Brand. Anyway, it's very cold and frosty and snowy outside. You have snow where you are?
No, we've just got frost.
Oh, even worse. Right, even worse. But I kind of feel it's the same way in the Doctor Who and the genre landscape, right? It's very quiet. It's like, what happened? Where'd everything go?
There's interesting things to talk about, but I think it was so furious particularly on the Doctor Who ground, between October and Christmas. It was something new with Doctor Who practically daily. There was so much to talk about. As you know, I was doing live streams twice, sometimes 3 times a week, simply because you were talking about the stuff anyway, so you may as well. and also I wanted to, we all wanted to, because we were right in the dead center of it here in the culture. The people who make content are. But now, it's all subsided rather. And whilst there are things to talk about, they're more like little gems here and there. I mean, I've been following the fortunes after swearing that because every year when I come to my social medias in January, I always look at my Twitter account in particular and think, okay, which words? It's a bit like the New Year's honours list, except I decide which words I'm going to mute. Which words and phrases. So words like anything connected with the tea people has been muted for a couple of years.
What's the TP? Oh yeah, I don't blame you. I would mute Israel Gaza. If I was you, frankly.
Well, I haven't yet. But I was going to say the N word, the 4-letter N word, that's been muted for a while as well. As is the word Tories, and all manner of words that just send people insane.
What's the 4-letter N word?
The naughty nationalists from the 1940s in Germany.
Oh, that one. Okay, fine.
The National Socialists, yes. So they're gone. And because it was just the slur that everybody was rolling around, then, of course, the phrase far right was added to that too, because, you're far right if you drink PG tips now in Britain.
Yeah.
It is, I'm laughing, but it is that simple. So this year I added Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy.
There's nothing there that you would possibly be interested in seeing.
There's nothing to say.
Nothing. Although it does look like they're trying to turn things around with getting rid of Kathleen Kennedy and bringing in Jon Favreau. Bringing back Jon Favreau, I think, is a big deal, right?
Well, I got the impression that they did sort of install him in an executive role and then stretched him either too thinly or didn't give him enough power. But because 1 week we had, the original week was when they announced that dopey movie, the Ray film.
That was back in Celebration. That was in May, I think.
But didn't it get a title and a director about 2 weeks ago? New Jedi Order. That's what it was called. Right?
It got something.
Yeah. So that's what prompted me to say, you know what, I'm not going to follow the production of this film over the next 2 to 3 years and the insufferable commentary around it as well. Because, realistically, people making ad revenue out of that, fair play to them. I don't knock them, but I just don't want to listen to it. We all know it's going to stink. You don't need to be a pop culture expert to know that.
I am interested in that. I think there's a real civil war going on. I think the Favreau movie being announced. Okay, so this was Doomcock, but I think he was right. I believe Doomcock a lot on a lot of stuff, I have to say. But I do think he was right that in the Mandalorian season 3, essentially Favreau was forced out of it. Right? He wasn't as involved. It's much more Dave Filoni, and Jon Favreau's avatar in the show was that big Mando with the giant gun. Right, that's the one that Mando. So that Mando got symbolically killed at the end of executed by the Praetorian Guard from Last Jedi. Which I have to tell you, still think that was one of the good things about Last Jedi. Right, that whole scene, I like that whole scene. Right,
I haven't seen the movie in quite a long time. I mean, for me, that third season of The Mandalorian felt like a completely different show. And left me, just not hungry for any more at all. I'm not hungry for any Star Wars whatsoever. But then I noticed they announced the New Jedi Order movie, and then the following week they announced the Mandalorian movie, and then this week I've just seen that the Rey movie is being cancelled.
Wait, the Rey movie was a New Jedi Order movie.
Yeah. So they've now just after 2 weeks,
right?
It looks like they're mothballing the project.
Right. Okay, so then you're behind one more day.
Okay.
Right? So then I think this is spin from Lucasfilm. They said no. It's still it's under development. Here, one second. This was Bounding in Comics, right? It was they said it was more. What was it? It was more than with Ahsoka season 2. Where they shared some pictures, some hand-drawn pictures of what season 3 would look like, of what season 2 would look like. Oh, here, I found.
Oh, okay.
I'm going through this looking for. Here it is. Doink. Share screen. We're up to fine. So there. So. I've been told delayed indefinitely. Problems arose. Fine, we'll talk about what the problems were in a minute. But okay, so Gizmodo, right, then came along and released their own report declaring the Rey film was, contrary to rumors, still on track. I don't trust Gizmodo.
No, me neither.
At all. They're in the outlets German Lassia. said, according to the supposed insider source at Lucasfilm, Roman's report is inaccurate, and Knight continues to write and be part of the process. Stephen Knight, I have a lot of time for. I think he's a big talent, right? I think he's
me
they were
too.
smart to get him in, right? But the rumor was that they gave him a bunch of he gave him the script, they gave him this insane amount of like woke notes, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm doing my Peaky Blinders movie. I got to go and do that now. Leave me alone, right? So, which I kind of believe.
Again, a creative force like that would be enough. If somebody like that really stepped into Star Wars properly and you knew you were going to get that project, you were going to get to see it, that would get my interest. But a continued sort of pattern of them announcing things and messing them around,
it's again chaos at Lucasfilm. Okay, here's a movie that will get you back in the cinema. Christopher Nolan's The Life and Death of Luke Skywalker. Right, that will get you in the cinema.
Yeah, you've sold this one to me before, and I completely agree.
Christopher Nolan's the perfect guy to do it because he's very interested in different ways of working with time. Like there's been an ongoing trait with a lot of his movies. He had the one I really got to watch that movie again with everything goes backwards. Tennant. I'm sure there's a good movie there if I understood it. Right, so there's that. There was it Oppenheimer? Have you seen Oppenheimer?
No, I haven't. I've just never got around to it. I will. I'll probably see it this year.
That was probably one of the best movies, the best movie of last year, I would say. It was, but it's very interesting because it's like it plays around with time in a very interesting way, right? It's all about this interesting presentation of like it was non-linear. And then he had the Dunkirk, which was in 3 different time frames.
Yeah, I like that.
Intersected, right? So he's very interested in Inception, where you had like the different speeds of time. He's always plays around with time. So him doing a Luke Skywalker movie, Life and Death of Luke Skywalker, I think would be really fascinating.
Yeah, I completely agree. Right now, it all looks just like the MCU. It all looks homogenized. All looks ridiculously political. It's Star Wars in name only, just like the MCU is MCU in name only, and therefore it's one of those things. My frame of mind was that it was off my mind, and therefore I don't need it in my field of vision. But you do notice when things. Hang on, that just got cancelled the other day. Announced the other day. Now it's cancelled, and it just makes you smile. And undoubtedly,
again, I think this is. A real sign of a civil war inside Lucasfilm.
Oh, right? Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And also the Mando and Grogu movie is just kind of a stupid idea, frankly. Right? It's
to be honest, I mean, I said this on my show with Ian David Diaz on the Space Book channel. Everybody, I said this to Ian that because the Mandalorian felt like it reached a natural conclusion at the end of season 2. Which was around 3 years ago. So by now, if they'd have said, okay, now you remember The Mandalorian, that big show from a couple of years ago, we're just announcing there's going to be a movie in cinemas in 2 years' time, I'd be punching the air. And I think a lot of people, if there'd been no Boba Fett, no Mandalorian season 3, I may have even suffered some of the sillier Star Wars shows that have been on in the meantime. Some of the things, or some of the things that have underperformed. I think Andor did sort of find its audience, but it did underperform, and numerous other projects that they've put out. But because the
problem was that first 6 to 8 episodes could have been cut out, essentially.
It all feels non-essential. That's the main problem of it. So you've got all this going on with something that was so beloved, and now I'm just happy that I've got the box set that I've got of the 6 proper Star Wars movies, and I can't imagine a single reason why I will stray away from those 6 movies ever again. I mean, I'd probably watch the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian in there because they feel like they exist in a bubble all of their own, and they do feel like they belong to the original trilogy. So I do.
Well, that's why they were good, right? That's why it was a good show.
Yes, so for some reason I've got a sort of exemption for them. I mean, so much. My son even bought me the Mandalorian action figure for Christmas.
Oh,
it's a really lovely present, and so I've got an exemption where that's concerned. But I think Star Wars has pretty much ended for me now. And as regards to the other franchises, Star Trek's a joke.
there's only so many times they can like beat it to bloody death, right? There's only so like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. They're all about Reva, right? A character I'm not interested in. It's all about freaking girls, right? Everything is about making
everything. I'm excited. Well, I was excited, for example, about Chad Stahelski's Highlander film, but I've been reading about that now for 6 years, so I've lost interest in that. I've lost interest in that.
Like everything. I mean, the only thing I'm really looking forward to coming out this year that I can think of is the Dune movie, which was
in a couple of months' time. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. Well, another one. I mean, just on the same tack as Highlander, which is like 6 years and counting. I think I've been waiting now. I've been reading about this one for the best part of 30 years. Beetlejuice 2 is out later this year. Now, if they'd have come out with that 15, 20 years ago.
Too late. I mean, look.
Exactly. Who cares?
You know, look, the David Tennant coming back to Doctor Who should be a lesson to a lot of people, right? He can't come back again, right? He really was just too old. I found all those specials flabby and dull, right? The only thing that gave it life, this whole new era came to life for me when Shooty Gut was running over the roofs of whatever in the church on Ruby Road, right? That it was up until that point that the era came together, and it was purely from his screen presence, which a lot of people don't like. Like if you didn't like that, you're screwed, right? As I'm sure you see in your chat. People like, they don't like it.
I expect I will when we get back to live streaming next week, when Type 40 Live returns, everybody. So I haven't actually taken the temperature of the audience on my channel yet, but I would imagine it would be largely the same. You do get the impression that fandom is lukewarm. I feel mostly the same as you. I feel very much the same as you about it. I think it's quite likely that they have got the right bloke. I just worry that they're going to get him wearing stupid things, doing stupid things, saying stupid things, and driving stupid stories. That's what really worries me.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have little hope that they will pull it off. Oh, was it Revert Yourself? Was it? I got to get back to you on the Twit Tats. But we're arranging doing a stream about Remembrance of the Daleks. If you want to join,
well, I have been messaging Sean, so we are in touch. We are going to collaborate on something, and I may well pop in on that. But I'm still reading from the fact that in his message to me, Sean confided to me that he was born 5 years after Remembrance of the Daleks was screened.
Oh yeah,
so
that's my head.
I went off him instantly, Rabbi.
Listen. I remember
Hi, Sean.
The first time I met a girl. Yeah. Right, I was in rabbinical. Not the first time I met a girl. First time I met a girl. I was in rabbinical seminary at the time, who was born after 1977. I was like, "You were born after Star Wars?" That's just like it did my head in. How could that be?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it beggars belief. I mean, and you think about how times have changed, and you look at not just the culture, the kind of stuff that we talk about concerning Twitter and people getting cancelled and things like that, but the way that people sort of respond and process their entertainment is. We've become consumers, haven't we? I don't think.
And you know that's why it's not very entertaining most of the time. What did I see recently?
We're treated as consumers.
The post office, right? Completely sucked in. I binge watched, I think, 3 episodes in one day. Have you seen it?
No. This is another one of those, because ITV dramas are usually pretty bad.
Oh, this is really good. I was amazed how good this is. It's got quite a cast to it as well, a cast of people you know from stuff. Yeah.
I probably will. Well, I can watch ITVX without a TV license, which is their catch-up service, so I can actually watch that. But what really sticks in my throat about it is the fact that the government have fudged all this so much that we have to actually watch an ITV drama to find out anything factual about this matter whatsoever. It shouldn't be like that.
But here's the thing. The reason it got a lot of success. 10 million overnight, right?
Did it really?
Yeah, it got a huge success, and it went up in the rating. Started like at 9 million, and it went up. Then I think 8 million, 9 million, 10 million.
That's a rare thing now.
Yeah, because it was strong. But here's the thing that it had that Doctor Who didn't, right? And Doctor Who should have had it, which is why, in my opinion, failed. Right? It was a simple morality play with good and bad, and it wasn't concerned with race, sex, or gender, right? And in fact, the majority of people in it were white people, right? And it didn't matter in any way.
I think that's probably part of it. I also think a large part of it will be the fact that it's been something that's been bubbling under that we have never been told the full story about.
Right.
And obviously everybody uses the post service, and more to the point, everybody you couldn't fail to notice living in Britain how badly the post office has fallen into disrepair. The standard of service has dropped quite a lot. So you're going to get people who are going to want to see what all this is about and how it relates to them. I gather this is ITV's biggest drama launch in well over 10 years. It's launched bigger than Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
this is a huge show, But the last time they had the last time they had a drama like this that got people talking like this was a similar show. It was the one that starred Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen played Chris Tarrant in a story that dramatized.
Oh, that was great as
well,
right? Again,
it's based on the same principle because everybody had heard the story, but we only knew bits and bobs about it, and everybody was invested in it because back when that game show started, everybody wanted to be a contestant on it, and it's the same principle. It's just that obviously with the post office, it's even more of a contentious topic.
Yeah, I hear it. No, I absolutely hear it. But again, it was a show made without agenda. Now, Doctor Who tried to be that moral show, and that's what it was trying to do with the Yasmin Finney trans. And it was trying to be like, but it was disconnected more from what morality actually is, and I think that's why it really fell apart. Like really deeply fell apart, right?
It's a minority of people's view of a reality, and whether one agrees with it. And I wasn't against Yasmin Finney being cast in the show at all.
Oh, I was on board too.
But it's a reality nonetheless, and so obviously it's going to distance people to some extent. Yeah.
But then again, I think both of us find the cultural swing in the other direction equally annoying. So this
egregious.
This is something that I will say to me, and I really need to address.
Okay.
While I will continue to be wary of Russell Yeovers following the church on Ruby Road, so this has actually had quite a lot of play, and you'll see what it sent to me, but I deeply disagree with it. I'll explain why. I don't think it would really matter. I mean, you seem to be able to get away with most things on here. Somebody said to me last week, this was Rabbi. I was talking to somebody, a mutual acquaintance actually. I was talking to somebody about the Ricky Gervais comedy special Armageddon, and we were saying how cancel culture. There's only two people that are uncancelable, and this other person said to me, "Oh no, I think you'll find there's three." Three? I said, "Yeah." Ricky Gervais, Dave Chappelle, and the Rabbi from another planet. So many have tried. What can I tell you?
I thought you'd like that.
I do like that. Listen, when a man's right, baby. I can't argue. Anyway, a friend of mine who identifies as culturally Jewish, whatever that means, has recently caught up on the 2023 specials and they've messaged me about after watching the Church on Ruby Road. E said, okay, why is he called E? E said that it should be J if he's Jewish. The only big issue he had with the episode, in their words, oh God, this is so annoying, is the blood libel storyline. Now, this is I've had a lengthy Twitter trouncing of Philip Morris about this. You might not have seen it. He's been posting like this, like not supporting the Palestinian cool stuff, but like vehemently, insanely anti-Semitic stuff, right? So
isn't Phil Jewish?
I don't think so.
Okay, I might have my wires crossed.
And listen, you do get Jews on that side of the aisle as well. More often than not, you'll be surprised. Anyway, so look, essentially, the point is that the most traditional form of anti-Semitism is a thing called blood libel. In the 18th century, people say the Jews kill babies to use their blood, and they would present a dead kid.
Oh, okay.
They would kill babies, Christian babies, to use their blood in making their matzah flatbreads for Passover, right? Look. Ever since Christian baby blood went above $6.99 a kilo, we've had to find alternate means.
I say all this is somewhat of an education for me.
That was always the make, because then if the Jews are doing that, it's okay to set fire to their homes, kill them, chase them out of town, whatever. They become kosher prey. So that's why when people like Hamas, they project a libelous image of Israel doing war crimes, doing genocide, things like that, and saying that these things just don't hold any water whatsoever, right? But it's the same thing. It's like it used to say we use Christian baby blood. Now you're saying we're harvesting organs from Palestinians, which is like both. So blood libel is a big thing, right? That in Jewish culture, but they want to say because because of the goblins eating the baby, it connects to the blood libel, and because goblins represent Jews. I don't really buy it. Look, I'm going to read this whole thing, but I don't really buy it, frankly. Because they said the same thing about the goblins in Harry Potter. Well, look here. May I demonstrate something to you here? Have you ever seen this? Oh, wrong thing. Hang on. That's it. Video file. Where is it? Downloads. Okay, yeah.
Come back here with Marge Jones.
Give it a second.
أبو ظبي للأطفال الشعب الخال البوسطة بالله صدام ويا
You never seen that?
No.
Okay, so there's and it's exactly like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
هذه الشوربة هتصبرنا.
أي حاجة لمساعدة أبطال إيجيهاد أتباعك مخلصين يا صدام.
Yeah, 1 second. Then they have this is it. They have a commercial break in the middle, right? Here, 1 second.
رسالة بعد كده على أبو ظبي للأطفال باتمان مش هيواجه بس وحيد ولكن 3 فريق هيحارب اليهودي.
The Jew.
وأيضاً هيحارب اليهودي تاني ينضموا معاه اليهودي العجوز الصغير.
What is this? Yes, it might have been an anti-Semitic trope at one point to portray Jews as goblins. It's now part of culture, right? Again, this is something. I've had such a bizarre week of doing Jewish Gentile race relations, right? So I was trying to explain to Philip Morris that yes, saying that Jews are performing a genocide is anti-Semitic because we're not, right? Just in the same way, if I said you, Philip Morris, are a child molester, that would be a defamatory thing. That would be not nice because I assume you're not, right? I'm assuming it's not, right? And if I said it because of your ethnic background, that's racist, right? So anyway, the long back and forth, right? Not really.
Well, at least he's talking to you.
Well, again, it wasn't like he just doubled and tripled down, but he couldn't respond. Sadly. Anyway, I digress. So so I had that going on at the same time at my son's engagement party, right? I was trying to explain to my Jewish friends that somebody isn't anti-Semitic if they don't completely support Israel in the Israel-Hamas war, right? And they're like, well, how not? Look what Hamas did. I'm like, But yeah, they have no skin in the game, right? If you're walking in and you hear the Arabs saying, "Oh, the Jews did this and that," and the Jews say the Arabs did this and that, you don't bloody know. Probably 50-50. That's what most people's minds go. Right? But like getting Jews to understand that is hard. It's a lot of work. Right, so I have that going on, right, and now we're dealing with the goblins of Doctor Who, right? But my point is, right, there is cultural stereotypes. There are, cultural stereotypes, which is, for me, it doesn't feel anti-Semitic, right? I would accuse Russell Davies of being a twat, right? But anti-Semitic, no, and frankly. I'm surprised how not anti-Semitic he's been, given that, like his entire worldview is, everyone on his side of the aisle.
His associates do seem to be.
So he's been smart enough to keep his mouth shut. So good for him, right? Anyway, so let's see what they have to say. As somebody who doesn't identify as Jewish on any front, suddenly it struck me how deeply inappropriate goblins featured the spectrum. We're fine! Fuck me. Could you stop with the massive Jew-hating rallies through the middle of London with hundreds of thousands of people calling for a genocide to Jews? That's bad. That we don't want, right?
Yeah.
Goblins and Doctor Who, we're cool, baby. We're all cool.
Yeah, just priorities, I think.
Yes. 5. What are we up to? Featuring just how much Russell played off the centuries-old anti-Semitic tropes that, given his recent espousing being more sensitive about these things, he really should have known better. Well, that's the fucking problem, right? Once you get on this treadmill of identity, like of worrying about if somebody's offended. Okay, here's the trick. Don't try and be offensive. If you offend somebody by accident, say sorry. Right? If somebody is crazy and they get offended.
Well, there you go, because that's what we all did. Everybody's offended somebody at some point in their lives, and we would apologize. But now, obviously, there's nothing that terrifies people more than apologizing for something they've said or done.
Insane. I'd like it. Has that got worse? Because it's really insane.
Much worse. Much worse. And it's not just millennials or younger either. The Zoomers. It is absolutely everybody.
Yeah, it's and like, what's wrong with being wrong? Oh, for God's sake, everybody's wrong at some point. Honestly, I'm super religious, so I take a lot of my worldview from the Bible, right? As an archetypal of expression of what human beings are like, and they go to great pains in the Old Testament anyway, of like painting, showing how the heroes of the Bibles all made mistakes. Right, they have like chapters on Moses screwing up. Right, everybody has made mistakes. It's okay to be wrong. Anyway, for those who are unaware, the anti-Semitic trope of the blood libel falsely accuses Jews of sacrificial murder of Christians, more specifically their young children and infants, as part of their religious rituals. Have you ever heard the likes of QAnon and other far-right groups? Darling, Blue and On is much worse, right? Talk about the secret cabal of powerful people. Read Jews. Okay. Arsehole. We don't need your help, right? We're fine. Right? We're fine. You worry about you. Oh. And where up to? Of powerful people, read Jews carrying out ritualistic murders and cannibalism. You've heard the trope being peddled. I mean, the thing is, though, I do kind of think, you have the elites in Hollywood and Washington, probably, I don't know, I mean, they seem to be into pedophilia, blood, eating people. I can't imagine there's anything they wouldn't do because it's too evil, right? They struck me as very bad people, right? What's his name? Guy who was the Lone Ranger. And I like the Lone Ranger movie. I'm surprised it was sad it didn't do more.
Oh, that was Army Hammer was the Lone Ranger, wasn't it? And he lost his career as well.
Yeah, he was on he had a good career trajectory, right? And then he vanished because there was some rumor about him like getting into some kind of sex blood party or something, like some weird shit.
I know he was cancelled, but I didn't know on what grounds. I know he just vanished, and then he turned up on a podcast talking to somebody or other about it, saying how his life was ruined and he hasn't worked for X amount of years and his mental health really suffered. And I wasn't sure what he'd been accused of, though.
I have no idea, but whatever. Now, with that in mind, you may be thinking, well, okay, that's pretty vile and all, but surely children being eaten is just a feature of dark fantasy. Yes, babies in Doctor Who are being eaten by goblins, not people. It's certainly not Jews. So what's the problem? Okay, we're saying the same thing now. Well, the problem is precisely that child-eating villains are goblins. Again, nobody connects this, right?
This is barking mad. It's absolutely barking mad.
It's nobody goes, unless you hate Jews. If you're a massive anti-Semite, you'll see it in that, right? But what can you do? You'll see it in anything. Fine. So we're only halfway through. What stupid thing can you say next? See, another long-standing anti-Semitic trope is the use of goblins in European folklore as an allegory for, you guessed it, the Jewish people. Often the pictures of grotesque stroll-like creatures with hooked noses, itself a physical trait abundant in anti-Semitic characters. Well, it's reasonably accurate. And who delight in hoarding gold. Everybody delights in hoarding gold and precious items. Like, no one's like, oh no, more gold and precious items. That sucks ass. Goblins arose in popularity around medieval England as an anti-Semitic shorthand for Jews. Really, not so much, right? And this is still in use today. I mean, look, in the Middle Ages, they weren't coy about presenting Jews in a negative light. I mean, have you seen The Merchant of Venice? It's not something they kept under their hat. They didn't have to. Let's invent a magical race of aliens. That so we can diss the Jews. They don't need to do that, right? They don't need to do that.
Okay.
What are we up to? Probably cosmetic. This device is still used today by many authors, whether intentional or not. A modern example is being J.K. Rowling. The pure evil of J.K. Rowling uses goblins as a controlling for the banks in a wizarding world of Harry Potter series, and the allegory and trope is so deeply embedded in the popular depiction of goblins that you simply can't avoid it. But we've forgotten it. Do you remember when Roseanne Barr got cancelled because she called Valerie Jarrett an ape, and everybody freaked out?
Vaguely, but I've never really paid much attention to Roseanne Barr, and I've no idea who Valerie Jarrett was. So
Valerie Jarrett was a top advisor to Obama, probably still is top advisor to Obama. But the point is this: that she's black, right? And so she said, "Are you calling me an ape because that's a racial slur?" If you're not a racist, you don't really think in those terms, right? You think of stupid person, right? I
see.
Like, it doesn't occur to me to that it's connected to your skin color. But if you're racist, you do think that way.
Well, the Doctor refers to human beings as you're a bunch of ridiculous apes or something like that. Right, exactly. I don't know what Roseanne said, but I would, I can see somebody, like mentioning if you call. I've heard lots of people, for example, dismiss somebody, groups of people or individuals, and by saying, "Oh, that person has got a real sort of behaves like a total Neanderthal." I've heard people say that. So if it was something. So if it was an extension of something like that, trying to make out that somebody who's quite primitive in their thinking, they were a primate in some way, the way they, in the way that they think, unsophisticated, I suppose. Right. But having said that, I mean, I know that Roseanne's quite outspoken. And so this other woman's a politician, so of course they're going to spin it to represent its worst possible.
Right, and that's exactly that. Yeah, that's exactly.
I'll have to look it up and see who said what there, because I genuinely have no idea.
It was a tweet, and it was. You'll see this up.
That was on Twitter as well.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, in that case, it's flat words on a screen, so it could be interpreted. There'll be no. People will just take it at face value, won't they?
Exactly. Could people always imprint what they want to see in it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's finish this. And so the church on Ruby Road will have a band of goblins that sole modus operandi is kidnapping infants and presenting them for a macabre ceremony to be cooked and eaten. It didn't look like this was being cooked. Whichever way you look at it, there's only one way you could arrive at the idea that for your antagonist, whether it was conscious aware of it or not. I think that makes a big difference. And I don't believe it was. Ross Lee Davis drew some again, you can't live this way of being constantly and terrified of offending someone. Enough already, right? Like you really can't live this way. It's like, it's crazy. By the way,
yeah.
I've had a good week for thumbnails. Have you seen my thumbnails this week?
Well, I saw your thumbnail today of Georgia Tennant in an Israeli bikini. Was it?
Yeah. Is that you in the background? The sound?
No, I can't hear anything.
Or maybe it's this little player. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. No, so where is it? That was today's one. Today's is the weakest one, right? We've had a very strong week. Right, we started off with a bit of Battlestar, with a bit of Buck Rogers action, and I get Aaron Gray just comes out perfectly in AI, right? Wow. So then I did a Romana one the next day for Tuesday, but I had to cut that stream short because my son got engaged. So I did a makeup stream last night, and very happy with this one, right? The two Romanas.
This is absolutely awesome. You'll have to send me the link to this site again because I've forgotten what it was, but it is absolutely brilliant. It looks so much like both of them, just enough. Really, really clever.
So I made it. I've decided I'm making a calendar out my best thumbnails. Doctor, are you sure the reasons have infiltrated a 19th century Puritan brothel?
And I love how you've got Romana in the bright white one that would match the outfit she wore in Rebus.
Well, exactly. You need to be able to go deep with your knowledge of these things, right? We have to go undercover.
I'd like to think that she would be wearing though a furry garter. Maybe I think would set that off nice.
I tried to get that. I put that in the AI. I said, white fur trimmed lingerie, and it like sometimes it came out. You can just see here. Actually, zoom in. But you could just see.
Oh yes, I can.
But it doesn't really come out. There are other ones that are better, but there was problematic. Anyway, and then today, because I hadn't got to the Georgia Moffat story. Thank you, Georgia.
It's the fact you've got her own father in the background.
I know. But I can still hear them saying that, right? All I said was that those television features look nice. And Pete Davis saying, told you they were crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because her dad was drummed off Twitter years ago, wasn't it?
Twitter exactly as it is.
And the fact that you've dropped Jodie Bear in there as well. Jodie Bear has outlived Jodie, and long may she do so.
I have to say, Jodie Bear has more personality than Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, right?
Absolutely.
Oh man!
I would buy a plushie of Jodie Bear, whereas I wouldn't buy a single thing connected with the Jodie Whittaker era of Doctor.
They really would do very well, right? They really it's so right. It's such a memory of our times we live in, these strange times we live in. Fine. So I'm not getting to the Tom Cruise safe cinema or the. I've been trying to get to. Where was it? This
Tom Cruise has tried to save cinema before with his United Artists deal, doesn't he? He's a very curious man.
Got a Warner Brothers deal, so all different this time. Oh, I tell you, I really respect his work ethic, right?
So do I.
I really do. So here, I've been trying to get to this for freaking ages. I guess it's either going to be Saturday or Sunday night. I mean, it's not an urgent thing. Here, 1 second. Share screen. Like share. So there's lots of. I got how do you put it? Like a 4-page article. This is from. Is this SFX or is this Doctor Who? This is SFX. Magazine.
SFX. Yeah, I've got this as well.
All right. So I don't know. I really want to work out what the hell they were thinking with this TARDIS, because it's just not. You know how something grows on you? This is the opposite. It's like it's getting worse by the day, Right, I know. So there's a big article in SFX and also in Doctor Who magazine. But I wish they didn't build it up so much and hyped it. Right? It's like it actually looks worse in the design sketches with all these like white bars everywhere. Like, I don't understand why they think it looks good. It's beyond me. Where are you?
I still really like it. I'm somewhere in the middle. I love the core design of it, but I just don't think, as a creative myself, as somebody who's done production design, they can't leave it where it currently is. The jukebox has to be the start of the Doctor filling it up and it becoming a lived-in space. They've got to.
Oh, if that happens, that'd be great. But I mean, for me, it's all just too big. Like, even the console's too big.
Well, it's going to be too big if they just leave it like that. Then it will be too big. But if, for example, one level of it is developed into the Doctor's laboratory, and we get to see him going up a gantry to his laboratory and working on stuff, and we can see kind of like the lab in Unit HQ used to be.
Right.
Then that would be pretty good. We could have a split level, like Torchwood HQ. We could hear what's her name was doing the autopsies.
That set has so much more character. That's why I don't like it. It's like devoid of all character.
That's what they need to work on. I think the console itself was a little too large, really. I think the controls and everything have a lot of character, and they need to bring that through the rest of the design. I think what we're looking at is a great concept, but they just need to take it somewhere, and they need to give it the personality that the Doctor is supposed to have. It's whenever they don't do that is when the series ends up being lesser.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I was like, what was I watching recently?
Look how much difference those bookcases made, and a guitar and a blackboard made to the Capaldi TARDIS compared to when Matt Smith was using it, where it looked like some set. It looked like this. It looked like this, just not as big. As soon as Capaldi started chucking
I like the Matt Smith TARDIS, but like again, just it looks like they're spending money because they can. I mean, I like how they got the LED lights behind, all like rigged together, and I understand that's probably a great feat of engineering. I just don't care. Like honestly, I watched Battlefield the other day, and that TARDIS set, which was basically just plywood?
Yeah, it was the console and one flat that was knocked up because the rest of it had been destroyed.
Right, I just thought was equally effective. I really was going to go, this is fine. I have no problem with this. This is fine.
Well, as a child watching it on an old 4:3 CRT television, you were aware that it wasn't the walls that you were used to, but it hardly broke the spell. The console was there, the characters were there,
and they turned the lighting down. That was all cool. Are you getting anything from a Big Finish right now?
I've just picked up the Sontarans and Rotans thing.
Oh, that was good, right? It's because they'll segue into the trailer.
That's the start of my Big Finish 2024, and next week there's a big release coming out which stars a friend of mine. So
it's coming out next week. I'm looking forward to that. Right, I am looking forward to that. I always like Stephen Noonan stuff. Yeah, let me find they just put out the trailer for the second one of those Sontarans versus Rutans. Where is it? I saw it on Facebook. So it should also be. Oh, is this? No. But okay, here's what's good about that first Sontarans versus Rutan one. It just tells the story, right? It tells the story and does it quite well. It doesn't beat you over the head with their sociological or political convictions. It just tells the story of Sontarans. Quite an interesting one.
Well, you're like me in that you're quite realistic about these things, but we're both rooting for Big Finish to thrive and to grow and to sustain. It's a tough year it's going to be a tough couple of years for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not even sure Doctor Who's going to make it to a season 3, right? And the only reason it's making it to a season 2 is because it's already made, right? They're already shooting it. But did you hear that they're not doing season 2 of She-Hulk? But did you hear how much they spent on it? What their budget was?
It was astronomical, wasn't it? Something like $220 million.
$225 million.
Yeah,
that works out to $1 million a minute for that piece of cack.
A hell of a lot of money to spend on basically giving your audience the two fingers.
Like 200. How did that tell us 225? There was 8 episodes and a half hour long each.
I lasted 2.5 episodes before I looked. I put it on pause and thought to myself, "What am I doing? What? No."
I was like that with the Monarch Legacy of Monsters show, right? I got up to season episode 4 of that, the Godzilla show on Apple Plus, and I was like, I can't do it, no more, right? No more. But John the White said that episode 10 was the greatest thing he's ever seen. Right? It was fantastic. So I'm like, oh man, I got to go through all 5 episodes now, right? Anyway, so here we have a trailer out for the second Sontarans versus Rusons. Well, the first one, as I said, is Charlie, Chris. It's a weird TARDIS group, right? What you haven't seen for a while. Charlie, Chris, and the 8th Doctor on a little adventure, right? And that's what it was. It was a fun little adventure. Yeah, one second.
In all honesty,
sorry.
In all honesty, that's when Big Finish works best, to tell fun little adventures that you can listen to when you're walking the dog. That's
exactly. Oh my god, exactly. This is a very good cover though, by the way. I'm quite impressed.
Yes, superb. I think the artwork is really rallying lately there as well. A much greater use of different color palettes.
I think AI is probably very helpful, right? Because you can use AI to make all new shot. Well, as you just saw, my 2 Romanas. Conrad said the Giant Causeway plot did hooks and leaving the audience wondering in a good way. Yes, I agree with you. Anyway, so let's listen to the trailer of the nobody here is original, and I think it works quite well.
The tale we have to tell is quite an extraordinary one.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, Sontarans versus Rutans, the children of the future.
There's much to prepare for tonight.
So, what's all this about?
Remember those missing scientists back when we first met?
So, again, I like that you hear the 3 people you want to hear straight away. I like Tim Treloar's 3rd Doctor. I think he's, generally speaking, excellent, right? I do enjoy him. Sadie Miller's Sarah Jane Smith, hit and miss. John Coleshire's Brigadier, perfect, right? So that's basically how it works. But you kind of like tuned into her Sarah Jane Smith.
Halt! This area is off limits. They were brought to a castle not far from here.
Okay, so that's warning sign number 1, right? You have a gruff, angry military personnel woman. That's bad sign number 1.
Captured by Lynx, the Sontaran.
So you think...
Oh, so now they've gone back to the same hotel, same castle, I should say.
That's where the Doctor's headed. Returning to the scene of the crime, so to speak.
I don't want either of you knowing too much about Earth's future. But what you need to know is that these people are survivors from a Sontaran invasion of Earth.
Maybe this is future history.
The Cascade Project.
A wound in reality.
It feels kind of like in season, in character, you know. Did you just hear Benton, P.D. Rich? I didn't hear Benton.
It was carnage.
Yet you admit there's something going on with the Doctor. Something odd.
If these Rutans can take any form.
Cunning shapeshifters.
Well, Sarah, just what are we going to do with you?
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
That's like one of the worst taglines of all time. As soon as they retire that, the better. So yeah, look, I think that's probably going to be a strong series. I like the bringing the War Doctor in. I got out the War Doctor range.
Oh, so we're going to get the War Doctor in. We're going to get the War Doctor in the same sort of series of releases as the 3rd Doctor, then.
Yeah. So Sontarans versus Rutans is. You have the 8th Doctor, Charlie and Chris in the first release, and it sets up. You have Sontarans in an interesting place, presenting in an interesting way, which I think worked really well, and it will certainly work visually, right? But it sets up some mysteries, and then the next one I think is going to be a 3rd Doctor one, where I think it's going to tell you more of the story of those Sontarans and also the battle with the Rutans. Then the 3rd one is either a 6th Doctor story or a War Doctor story. And then you have the 4th one is it's clearly supposed to be a box set, but I love this monthly release. It's so much better, right?
Yeah,
it's so much more
that.
relaxed. I get to listen to it, and I get to pay attention to each disc, right? As opposed
There
to
is something aggressive about the marketing of a range of just box set after box set after box set. There's just something about it that's turned me off.
Honestly, I think the box set model was good for, like, you know, the later Obama and the Trump era, where we had more money essentially, and people would drop more money in these things, right? I just don't think we're in that world now.
Speaking of the War Doctor and the Third Doctor, I don't know if you've seen my interview, Rabbi, with Tim Treloar and Jonathan Carley. So that's myself and Simon. We got to interview Tim and Jonathan live on stage at Hooverville last autumn there, alongside Gary Russell. We had a good chat with all three gentlemen for an hour or so. It was an absolute blast. It's currently up on the Type 40 channel.
I will definitely check that out. You know, I just wish Gary Russell would stop making shit. Right, that's like the like, I like him and I buy everything I like, but like he was in charge of the every animation he's in charge of has been shocking. It's been just.
He's a very nice guy. I mean, the conversation that we had on that show was rather more broad than anything specific, because there was five of us talking. Simon's a friend of Gary's and has known him off and on for decades, and he was great company. In fact, they all were really, really good sports. So that's up on the channel right now. And I've got a video dropping as well in an hour or so. I've got this dropping. This is Doctor Who Beat Off, and that's my take on this week's big Doctor Who story, such as Doctor Who is
fabulous. I absolutely adored this trailer, right? It's not available to order yet on Amazon.
It may have sold out.
How could it have sold out before production?
I know. Well, I think that when it comes to different retailers get allocated, don't they? They have so many units. Is that how it works?
I guess I'll get it from there's also Zavvi and there's other places as well. But how could that sold? They got to realize they need more then if it's sold out.
Well, you would think so. Supply and demand it's pretty simple. But yeah, I've been cranking out some videos and podcasts and all manner of other things, getting ready for next week's return of Type 40 Live. With me and my friends there, as always, live from 8 p.m. next Thursday, where we'll be gassing on about all manner of things. We've got it under our hats for the time being, including this one, but I hope to see some of you there next Thursday for that as well.
My YouTube landscape has been bereft without the
Excellent answer, mate.
It really has. I mean, I'm looking for things to listen to more now, right? I have to search for more stuff. Fine. With that, I think I'm going to wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm going to wrap up. Did I miss any chat? Probably. It's just the way I roll, baby. Anyway, I'm going to be back Saturday night. I'm going to get in touch with Sean. Review yourself. See when we're going to do our Remembrance of the Daleks-a-thon. Maybe I'll send them the making of stuff from the Blu-ray. The DVD, I should say, so you can watch that while I rewatch the episode. Anyway, with that, Dan, thank you for joining me tonight. Looking forward to getting back to Type 40 next week. I'm hitting the end broadcast button. I'm hitting again. Say good